Okay. Hey guys, so yesterday I showed you guys a similar keyboard to this. It was the HyperX Alloy Origins Core, but it did not have PBT keycaps. So when we went to Best Buy and we bought this, I was like, gee, it feels pretty good, but it has the cheap plastic crappy keycaps on it. And, I agreed that I thought this keyboard had good stabilizers that don't perform badly. Okay, so this keyboard has PBT keycaps. So this is the PBT keycap version that I got on Amazon. So on Amazon, it's kind of sad because a lot of these keyboards, they have different configurations, but you have to find them at different retailers. You know, you can get some of them on Amazon, you can get some of them at Best Buy, you can get some of them at all these different places. But you can never find all of them in one place, it seems. Like, I was looking at the Huntsman V2 TKL with purple clicky switches, and you can get that for $99 on Best Buy. But if you order it on Amazon, it's $150. So you have to kind of look around to find the configuration with the keycaps and the switches that you want. You may even have to order it from the actual company's website. Like Corsair is known for doing that. Like, they have like a keyboard with like 5 different switches to choose from. But if you go to the store, all they have is the silver speed switches or the OPX gamer speed optical switches, and that's your only choice. And while I'm on the subject of Corsair, when I originally got a mechanical keyboard, the Corsair K100 RGB came out, and that was like their flagship optical switch keyboard. And when I got it, it was my first ever mechanical keyboard, optical mechanical keyboard, and I was typing on it, and it was very cool. It had PBT keycaps. It was, it had a hard bottom out. It was very light switches, no tactile bump like the membrane Logitech $15 keyboard I was using. I was really impressed with it, but I could tell from the get-go something was wrong with it, and it was the travel distance. The silver speed switches, the Corsair OPX silver optical speed switches, those gamer switches have a very short travel distance, which means they bottom out extremely quickly. I think they had that same issue with Razer's original optical switch linear keys, where like a very short travel distance, very fast actuation, lots of typos. And when you're typing on it, like, it actually starts to hurt your fingers because there's not enough travel distance. It feels like you're just bottoming out constantly, and it's very fatiguing. It doesn't feel good. So I started realizing you need at least a 3.5-4 millimeter travel distance, and not anything less than that, like 3.2 or below that. So this keyboard, it's using very similar like Cherry MX style switches. These are Aquas, obviously, but it's a very similar design to a Cherry MX switch. So these keys are PBT. It reminds me a lot of the Corsair keyboards. They use Cherry MX switches, and they have very similar keycaps. A little bit of the similar wobble to them, because the Razer optical switches, they don't have any wobble at all. They got like this really firm stabilizers on all the keys and shit, which I really like about Razer keyboards. But this is what Corsair keyboards should be. And again, I'm shocked. HyperX, like, what is HyperX? Like, that sounds like some no-name brand, China shop, back alley, garbage company. It can't be as good as Corsair or Razer. That's how I always thought. Same with the Steel Series keyboards that everybody likes. So I'm actually shocked by this, because this is how Corsair's keyboards should be. There's no pinging. There's no ting, 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 ting. There's none of that at all. The keys feel amazing. They have decent travel distance. The spacebar doesn't rattle. There's no like rattly spacebar. Like, what the fuck? If I push on the edges of the shift key, it doesn't like get stuck bent like on a Corsair stabilizer on the shift key. And again, this is a aqua switch, so it's kind of like a tactile kind of bump, kind of like a membrane, but not mushy like a membrane. Very smooth, you know, not scratchy at all, like I believe Cherry MX Orange or whatever, you know, tactiles. So I am just shocked by this keyboard. As long, again, these are not optical switches, these are mechanical switches. I think I don't know the longevity of them, but I don't know. But as long as they don't double type or ghost type ever in the future, this keyboard is better than an optical switch keyboard, in my opinion. It's better than the, it's flawless. It does not ping. The stabilizers maybe have a tiny bit of rattle on the shift and backspace, but it's not that bad at all, especially the spacebar. Typically, like I was listening to like a Razer Black Widow, and every time they pushed the spacebar, it just sounded like shit, you know? So like I did, you know, I crossed that off the list. I'm not going to get the green switch mechanicals, and apparently those double type like crazy. So again, I do like the optical switch keys on the Huntsman. I think the Huntsman V2 optical switch, again, it's got a little bit ting 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 sound to it, but besides that, I think it's flawless. So again, I still stick with the Razer because it has optical switches, and I think it's pretty much flawless besides that little ting 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 sound that it has. And again, I do prefer clicky tactiles, you know, but you know, I think this HyperX is and for only like $79, $69, it's oh my god, as long as it doesn't double type or ghost type, it's flawless. And I could argue that it's actually better in some ways than the Razer. So I am shocked by this keyboard, especially by this brand. And again, you can just go to, well, you can't go to the store, you had to get on Amazon. But they have this keyboard in blues, clicky tactile. And I'm just telling you, I'm thinking about buying one. You know, as long as this, you know, doesn't ever double type or fuck up, you know, this is good enough for me. And I mean, this is flawless. Like, this is, again, I tried several different keyboards, you know, from different companies, mechanical keyboards, and they were all apps, especially Razer. They're red silent switches. They don't say they're silent, but they're mushy as shit because they're so dampened. They're analog. They sound so clocky, clacky, clacky, clacky. You know, this is what the K100 RGB that I bought originally should have been. If I got this, I would have been perfectly satisfied with it. But even, you know, as a novice, you know, who just got into mechanical keyboards, I like this. This is uncomfortable. You know, these OPX optical gamer switch, you know, Cherry MX OPX Corsair brand, you know, keys are shit. Switches are shit. So yeah, I am shocked by this keyboard. Again, I had a computer mouse a long time ago that would double click, that couldn't hold a click, you know, because it was old. And you know, so once I learned about optical switch mice that don't, you know, double click or have rebound delay or whatever the fuck it's called, rebound delay or whatever, you know, I switched over to optical computer mice. And I switched over to optical keyboards as well, because again, they don't double type, they don't ghost type, they don't have those problems. And I think the purple clicky switches by Razer are pretty much flawless. Yeah, I mean, again, you can say they don't sound the best because they have a little bit of ting to them, but like it's nothing in my opinion. But yeah, this HyperX is pretty much flawless in my opinion. Again, you could probably bitch about the slight bit of wobble and rattle to the backspace and to the inner and to the shift. You can hear a little bit of rattle with the backspace, but like it's you know, like I'm pushing the space bar and it doesn't just stick out as like you know, click 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 tack, click 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 tack from hitting the space bar. You know, it doesn't do that. You know, honestly, it's worse on the Razer when you push the space bar. You know, you can clearly hear that I'm hitting the space bar. Tick 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 tick. It's just a lot less annoying. So